Great question.
All right. We will go ahead and call to order the August 5th, 2024 Planning and Zoning Work Session meeting at this time. We'll go ahead and open for public comments. If anyone has any public comments, please limit to 3 minutes and please come to the podium or raise your hand virtually. Please state your name and city of residence for the record. Is there anybody online, Jason? All right, we'll go ahead and close public comments and we'll turn the meeting over to Miss Atkinson.
All right, there we go. All right. Bleeding eardrums. Okay, so looking at this evening, here I'm already messing up my notes over here. You all have had an opportunity to look at the agenda in your packets. We have one consent agenda item, which is the plat. Final plat. And then we have the 4 cases on our regular agenda. We have one plat, a zoning case, an appeal, and a site review. So do y'all have any questions on any of those cases? No discussion?
I
Okay.
don't think so.
And any questions on the director's report for this evening? Except that it seems like it just gets longer.
I guess not.
All right.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, I feel like that's probably the fastest workshop we've had on record, or pretty close.
For the, I do think we probably should have.
Oh, that's right. We do have that. Yeah, did
Well, I was
y'all?
just about to say, do we want to talk about the vice chair seating?
Yeah, you can talk about that at
Mhm.
the time while we're talking about regular agenda items.
I guess everyone knows JD stepped down. I guess everyone read his email. And I guess just secondly, as far as that's concerned, Kathy, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm also like up and out in September.
Yeah,
So I've got like 6 meetings left, 4 meetings left is all. So
you'll be through the end of September. October 1, we'll have some new appointees.
yeah. So as y'all are really deciding who y'all want to be chair and vice chair, kind of think of that simultaneously, because I think also this will be my 3rd consecutive term, so I have to take a mandated 12 months off before I can come back. So it's not like I can reseat on it. So I'm gone for a year at least, I guess. So
Yes, and when we have those new appointments in October, that's when we'll have to reappoint chair and vice chair at that time as well.
Okay.
So this vice chair position is for the unexpired term.
Okay.
It'll only last until that October date and then we'll reseat as well. So that's also something to think about is you're not making a huge commitment yet, although you may be in the running for chair come October. So just keep that in mind.
Can you guarantee you're gonna be at all the rest of the meetings?
Yeah, I'll be here for the last, my last meetings for sure, 100%. But
There's no, we don't have to elect a vice chair at this point, or we can.
Well, we have elected vice chair for now. It'll just be up in October when we do our normal
Okay.
elections. After we've seated a new commission.
Okay.
We do try to always keep a chair and vice chair as much as we can, as often, as quick as we can. That way, when the chair is not available, the vice chair can fill it.
That would be.
Can they go ahead and discuss that now, or do they just need to? think about it?
just for internal discussion, just so.
Yeah,
that
you can do
during that-
internal discussion
Yes.
like right now, but no formal nominations.
Right.
Basis.
I'm sorry.
I said it's just the interim basis, so.
Right.
All right.
Becky? Okay, perfect. I think there's general consensus, of course. Right. Perfect.
All
Is
right.
there any other questions for the rest of the agenda from anybody? Okay,
All right. Thank you.
thank you, Kelly. All right, I will now ask for volunteers for the invocation and the pledge. Okay. I was waiting for it. All right. And now we will hear affidavit regarding affidavits from Mrs. Gover.
Record no accident. Staying up there with the- for this- that program.
That's correct. Thank you, Kathy. And if there's no additional business, we'll go ahead and close the workshop at 5:21. Oh, yeah, hey, question, Kyle, offline question. Why don't we do the Texas pledge also for these commission meetings?
The 9 years I've been here, it's always.
Leave that up.
Schedule
Oh, yeah, and
for that.
I think if you want to introduce that, that's the same thing they do.
Is that what they do at council?
Which they only do the.
Yes.
But, then they're
If we started saying it, I think I could go along. But if you ask me to, yeah.
Rotary, we did both.
You want to start a new tradition?
That's.
I'm doing it. I'm not sure how it's starting, both pledges kind of together, you know.
Sure, we have to put it on the agenda.
Yeah, it's gotta be on the agenda.
Yes, discuss things off the agenda.
Well, maybe you could check that out. And then we can incorporate it if it's deemed doable.
Right. Um. We will call to order the August 5th, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting at this time at 5:30. Mrs. Gover, maybe have the roll?
Yes, good evening and welcome to the August 5th, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission Open Session Meeting. Commissioners, please state present if in attendance. Commissioner Morales, Commissioner Walker,
Present.
Commissioner Jurassic,
Present.
Commissioner Krause,
Present,
Commissioner Smith,
Present.
Commissioner Jeans. For the record, Commissioner Jeans is not present. Commissioner Carney. For the record, Commissioner Carney is not present. Chair Marshall.
Present.
For the record, a quorum is present with 6 commissioners in attendance. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. If everyone would rise with me, Commissioner Krause will lead us in the invocation, followed by Commissioner Smith with the pledge.
please bow your head. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the blessings this city has received. We thank you for all those in attendance and ask that you give us guidance in all things and all decisions. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. We'll now confirm the meeting agenda items. Commissioners, are there any questions or comments regarding them? Since there's no objection, the meeting agenda items are approved by unanimous consent. And this time we will go ahead and open up the public comment section. If there are any public comments, please limit those to 3 minutes and please state your name and city of residence for the record.
I'm seeing no hands raised online. I'll note that Councilmember Zoe Grant has joined us on the Zoom platform.
Perfect. Seeing none in person either, we'll go ahead and close the public comment section and move to the consent items. On the consent agenda is the approval of items 4 and 5. Commissioners, if there are no objections, I'll entertain a motion for them.
Second.
I heard Ryan's voice first, so I got a motion by Commissioner Morales and a second by Commissioner Smith to approve items 4 and 5 on the consent agenda. Maybe have a vote, please.
Yes, Commissioner Morales.
Aye.
Commissioner Walker.
Aye.
Commissioner Jurassic.
Aye.
Commissioner Krause.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Chair Marshall.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous and the motion carries.
All right, we'll move on to item number 6, the election of our vice chair. During our work session, I think we had a general consensus that Commissioner Krause would be put forth into that position. And if there aren't any other questions or comments regarding that, I'll entertain a motion.
Accept Ms. Krause as vice chair.
Because this is an elected position, we have to do it open nominations. We've got a nomination for Commissioner Krause. And we've got a second for that nomination. You'll now ask if there are any other nominations.
Are there any other nominations? Sorry.
If not, you may close nominations and then have a vote on the one nomination.
All right, we will go ahead and close the, thank you, Kyle. We'll go ahead and close the nominations at this time and I will, I guess Kathy, can we have a vote, please, for Commissioner?
Commissioner Morales.
Aye.
Commissioner Walker.
Aye.
Commissioner Jurassic.
Aye.
Commissioner Krause.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Chair Marshall.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous and the motion carries. Congratulations, Vice Chair Krause will receive.
Cheers. Yeah. With that, we'll move to item number 7, which is FY 24 31 ZC. Hold a public hearing to discuss and recommend action on a rezoning request from general retail to manufactured home districts to planned development agricultural with a site development plan and conditional use permit for a HUD code manufactured home land lease community expansion of Bluebonnet Estates Mobile Home Park on 22.109 acres near the southwest corner of East Young Avenue and East Shell Avenue, located in the Benjamin Strassener Survey, abstract number 746 in the city of Temple, Bell County, Texas, addressed as 901 East Young Avenue. In this case, will be presented by Principal Planner, Ms. Cheryl Maxwell.
Chair Marshall. Getting all situated here. So this is scheduled to go to the city council on first reading on August the 15th and second on September the 5th. So this shows the location of the property. It's at the corner of Young Avenue and Shell Avenue. On the aerial, you can see that the existing Bluebonnet Mobile Home Park is located just to the west. As far as surrounding developments, property on the east side of Shell Avenue is currently undeveloped. There's single-family homes across East Young Avenue and then also adjacent to this property. Those are all located on large tracts. And here you can see the zoning of the property. The orange is general retail, so the existing park is zoned general retail. This property is partially general retail, and then there's a small section on the south that's zoned mobile home district. The surrounding property is zoned agricultural. That's all of the green area. On the north side of East Young Avenue, there's a ag with a conditional use permit. That's to allow a one-lot mobile home subdivision. So there's a mobile home existing on that property. And then at the corner, you have a planned development, general retail as the base, and that was for a mini storage warehouse. So the applicant is proposing an expansion of the existing Bluebonnet Mobile Home Park. This use is not allowed in general retail or the mobile home districts. So the existing park is grandfathered and can't be expanded unless it's rezoned. So the expansion is proposed on the additional acreage to the east. The use is allowed with a conditional use permit in the ag district, and the PD zoning is proposed to address specific conditions and site plan review. So the next slides are different pictures of the site and the surrounding properties. These are all of the rezoning site. This is the view from Shell Avenue, and this is the view from Young Avenue. And then the two at the bottom are pictures taken inside the park, looking at the undeveloped portion of the property. These are pictures of property on the north side of Young Avenue. This is the mobile home that's existing, and then this is a site-built home. And these are shots of property on the east side of Shell Avenue. Again, these are undeveloped. The property is basically undeveloped at this point. And then the adjacent property to the east and the south, there are two detached single-family homes. And these are some pictures inside the mobile home park. The first two are actually the entrance off of Shell Avenue, where you can see the existing fencing. And then these are just some sample shots of existing mobile homes in the property. And there's some existing amenities on site. This is the office and meeting room. Just off to the side of that is a playground, some picnic tables, barbecue pits, a swimming pool. And then there's some open space. This is actually at the northwest corner of the property. So there are 177 existing sites. Additional 123 are proposed. This would give a total of 300 sites. Mobile home parks are required to comply with two different sections of the code. We've got UDC section 5.3.2, specific use standards for HUD code manufactured homes. And then there's also the city code of ordinances, chapter 23, which is for manufactured housing. So I've basically picked out a few of the conditions from each of these codes. On the UDC section 5.3.2, a minimum 50-foot front yard setback is required along the perimeter streets. This would be along Shell and Young Avenue. There's a PD condition that will allow a reduction from 50 feet to 30 feet. There's also a requirement that only double wide units are allowed. There's a PD condition that will allow single wide units. A minimum 25% of the units must be double wide, and only double wide units are allowed to be placed along the perimeter of the streets. Fencing and screening is also required around the perimeter. A minimum 5% landscaping is required along the perimeter streets, and the maximum age of the units that can be moved on the property is 15 years. And then these are requirements that come out of chapter 23, a maximum density of 10 units per acre. The actual density that's proposed is less than this at 5.7 units per acre. The sites or the lots, a minimum 35-foot width. The applicant's proposing a minimum 50-foot wide lots provided for single wide units and 60 feet for double wide units. Minimum 5% recreational area required for this entire park. That would be 2.4 acres. For the existing and the proposed park, they're providing 2.73 acres in 3 different areas, and that's shown here in the kind of blue color where the recreational areas will be, and some of these are existing right now. And then 2 parking spaces per unit are required, plus 1 space per 4 units for guest parking. So that would be 31 spaces for the guest parking, and the applicant's providing 83. And again, those are shown with the purple P, the different parking areas that are being added. And a minimum of 2 access points, 2 alternate design entrances. Those are the entrances that are 41 feet wide. Those will be provided and will accommodate up to 300 dwelling units. So you can see one off of Young Avenue and the second one off of Shell Avenue. And then connection to city water and sewer is also required. So regarding access, again, the property has frontage on Young Avenue, which is a community collector shown on a thoroughfare plan in orange. And Shell Avenue is a minor arterial, which is shown in green. There is a CIP project to widen Young Avenue to 2 lanes with a center turn lane, and then to realign the intersection here of Shell and Young to a T. Right now, it follows the curve right here. The design and right-of-way for this project was funded in FY24, but has not moved forward at this point. And again, 2 alternate design entrances will be provided, 41-foot pavement width that will allow up to 300 dwelling units, which are again shown here on those, one off of Young and one off of Shell. Internal streets will be private streets with 26-foot pavement width, and no parking will be allowed on either side. And sidewalks are required along both street frontages. With utilities, water and sewer, water, there is an existing 12-inch line at the northwest corner of the property. Currently, private lines connect to this 12-inch main to provide service to the existing park. A second water connection would require extension of the 8-inch line along Shell Avenue. And with regard to sewer, there's a 15-inch gravity line located on the west side of the railroad tracks. There is a 10-inch private line that currently connects to this to provide service again to the existing park. An extension of the private lines would be needed for phase 2. So the next slides are some tables and charts. These are all in your packet. The main thing, one is a comparison of uses between ag and general retail. Normally, we're going from ag to a more intensive district like general retail. You're adding uses that can be allowed in those districts. In this case, we're actually going backwards. You're going from general retail to ag. So you're actually resulting in fewer uses that would be allowed with the rezoning instead of more. On trip generation estimates, there's a comparison of a mobile home park with single-family detached, single-family attached, and multifamily apartments, all at 300 dwelling units. And the weekly average trips comes out to be a little over 2,000 for all of those. Do want to note that a mobile home park is estimated at about 2,100, whereas single-family detached would be a little bit more than that at 2,800. This chart also shows recent traffic volumes, the average annual daily traffic, the AADT. The red squares are the 2020 counts, and you can, there's a couple right here I'd like to point out. This one is a little over 1,400. If you go to the west, you've got a little over 1,500. Those are for for Young Avenue. And then along Shell Avenue, you've got one on the southern end here at 705. On crash history, this is a report from 2019 to 2024. Again, you've got the red dot over here, which is at the major intersection. You're going to have higher traffic and incidents there. But the crash history, there were 61 crashes, 0 fatalities, 3 serious injury, and 10 minor injury. And then the next charts are criteria and compliance summary for a PD and also for a conditional use permit, a CUP. We've gone through these, feel like the criteria are satisfied or will be satisfied with the subdivision plat. With regard to the comp plan, the future land use shows this area as residential and neighborhood service, which is the yellow color. This is intended primarily for new single-family detached residential subdivisions. Do want to point out, though, that an alternative housing options like a mobile home park was not addressed in the future development plan. And the proposed expansion of the mobile home park does provide an opportunity for detached single-family use and home ownership in a non-traditional setting. And we feel it's consistent with the intent of the future development plan. So we feel that the request is in compliance with the future development plan and the thoroughfare plan. It's compatible with surrounding uses and zoning, and public facilities are available. A notice was printed in the newspaper on July 25th, and notices were mailed to surrounding property owners within 200 feet. This was the owners of 12 different properties. We did receive one response in opposition, and that represents 3 properties. So that is it's kind of hard to see in the corner, but that's the larger property across the street. And then they also own these 2 smaller little parcels. So it was actually 3 different property IDs, but the same property owner. And our development review committee did review this on June 17th, and we have incorporated their recommendations. So we do recommend approval of the rezoning, the site development plan, and the conditional use permit subject to these PD conditions. The ag zoning district standards apply for the use and development. The 2 sections that we talked about, UDC section 5.3.2 and City Code of Ordinances, chapter 23, they apply except as follows. Single wide units are allowed. And I point out that a minimum 25% of the units are required to be double wide. All units along Young and Shell Avenues are required to be double wide. Reduction in the front yard setback along the perimeter street from 50 feet to 30 feet. Compliance with the approved site plan. Minor changes can be approved by the planning director, or major changes would require it to come back through the planning commission and city council for approval. Compliance with UDC section 3.5.4 A through G, which is for a conditional use permit. Fencing and screening is required. Landscaping is required. No unit older than 15 years may be moved onto the property. Compliance with the entrance and access design standards. Minimum 26-foot wide private street with parking on either side prohibited. Subdivision plat is required, and sidewalks are required along Young Avenue and Shell Avenue. Those will be evaluated with the subdivision plat. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. I do want to note that the applicant is also here present if you have questions of them.
I have a question. I know this isn't in the scope of tonight's case, but if the original park is under general retail and that's not allowable, why is that not changing also?
It's considered a legal non-conforming use. It's grandfathered. We did talk with the applicant about the possibility of maybe rezoning that as well to bring it into compliance. They opted not to. He could probably speak a little bit more clearly to that. So basically, the existing part will retain its legal non-conforming status. So this new part will be subject to all the new criteria, the new codes and everything.
Does the thing have single wide units?
Yes.
What percentage?
I really can't answer that. The applicant could address that if you'd like, or he could come up now, or he can come out later if you have other questions.
If you don't mind stating your name and city of residence for the record as well.
My name is Dale Nordham, and city residence, Copper's Cove.
Okay.
Thank you. For the single wide, double wide question, actually, most of them are single wide. We have, as far as an exact percentage, I could get that for you, but I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it out at the moment, but just
Roughly what you're proposing is the same 75, 25.
it's probably backwards. We probably have about 25. Yeah. Probably 25. I'm sorry, it's about the same. Yeah, it's probably a little less because we don't have a whole lot of double wides out there. There's a few, but I'd say probably out of 177, maybe 20, you know.
And the setback that's currently there, is it 30 foot on the existing?
I didn't measure that. Kendra, do you know when they surveyed that? If no, actually, is that, or do you mean from the home to the to the street. Yes, it's actually a little bit more. It's about 32, 33 when I measured. The closest that I could see standing at Young Avenue, right by the front entrance. Because when we proposed from 50 to 30, I wanted to make sure that would work.
Match what's existing.
Yeah, I wanted to
Okay.
be like, so I just kind of looked at it and then I ran the tape out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, this case does require a public hearing. We'll go ahead and open up that public hearing. If you wish to speak and are attending in person, please come to the podium. If you're viewing online, please virtually raise your hand. And please provide your full name and city of residence for the record.
Seeing none online.
Seeing none in person, we'll go ahead and close the public comment section. And commissioners, if there are no other questions or comments, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve FY 24 31 ZC as submitted by yeah.
Second.
All right, a motion has been made by Commissioner Krause and a second by Commissioner Walker to recommend approval of item number 7, FY 24 31 ZC, the city council for staff recommendations. May we have a vote, please?
Yes. Commissioner Morales,
Aye.
Commissioner Walker.
Aye.
Commissioner Jurassic.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Vice Chair Krause,
Aye.
Chair Marshall.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous and the motion carries.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
We'll move to item number 8, which is FY 24 2 APL. Hold a public hearing to discuss and recommend action on an appeal of standards from the Unified Development Code, section 6.7.7.I, to allow an exception to the sign height maximum in the I-35 industrial subdistrict overlay from 35 feet to 75 feet in height, and to the sign size maximum of 200 square feet to 300 square feet for property addressed as 5501 North General Bruce Drive. In this case, will be presented by Senior Planner, Ms. Shelby Smith.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. So this case is, of course, being presented on tonight's P and Z agenda, and then it will also go to City Council for August 15th. So this is the general area of the proposed sign appeal. So it is off of North General Bruce Drive and I-35 frontage road. The property is located in the industrial subdistrict of the I-35 corridor. For the zoning, the property is zoned light industrial. Surrounding property zonings include commercial, light industrial, and also agricultural. Again, this is in the I-35 industrial district, and then you can see the green area around it is the I-35 gateway subdistrict. So the appeal is for a pylon sign. So this is the definition of the pylon sign from the UDC, and the table to the right is basically the standards for the pylon sign. So you could see the maximum height is 35 feet. The maximum area per sign face is 200 square feet. And below that are just provisions from the UDC specifically for the pylon sign. So the appeal is to appeal section 6.7.7I of the UDC for a pylon sign height of 75 feet and 300 square feet, specifically in the I-35 corridor overlay. So basically, once the development review committee was submitted or complete, and the applicant was made aware that staff would not support this, they did come back with the second option, which we appreciate. So the original request would be for 75 feet. Again, the maximum height is 35 feet. And the maximum sign size would be 300 square feet, but the maximum is 200 square feet. So that's option 1. The second option that the applicant came up with was a maximum sign height of 50 feet and a maximum sign size of 247 square feet. So this is the site plan for the proposal of the pylon sign. You can see this is the location of the pylon, or the proposed location of the pylon sign off of North General Bruce Drive. Again, this is located in the industrial subdistrict of the I-35 corridor. And again, this is the site plan just showing where the proposed sign location would be. So these are the visuals that the applicant submitted. The first on the left-hand side is the sign area square size of 300 square feet with a 75-foot sign height. The second option is a 247 square feet sign area with a 50-foot sign height. And these are both of the two options that the applicant's proposing. So this is some site photos basically of the current building at Woods. And then this is really just the driveway, kind of the location of where the pylon sign would be located. Surrounding site photos. So to the west, we have commercial uses, which is also zone light industrial. To the east, undeveloped land, which is zone agricultural. And then to the north, commercial uses, again, in the I-35 industrial district. And then to the south, we do have a commercial plan development zoning and also a light industrial zoning. And this is in the I-35 Gateway District. These are basically visuals that the applicant submitted. So you can see they compared it to the Buc-ee's pylon sign, which has a sign height of 100 feet here. This is the 75 feet sign height, which is what the applicant is requesting. And this is the 35 feet sign height, which is the maximum sign height for the for that I-35 industrial subdistrict corridor. And then to the bottom, the southbound view, again, just the required sign height, 35, 75 feet, what the applicant's requesting compared to the 100-foot pylon sign height of Buc-ee's. And I will state that the Buc-ee's pylon sign was approved with a commercial plan development zoning, and it was specifically a PD condition within that zoning relating to other corporations for the Buc-ee's franchise. Again, this is another visual that the applicant provided, just comparing the Atwood's location, square footage and acreage to Buc-ee's as well. And this is just a visual to show the distance between Buc-ee's and Atwood. So it is a little less than a mile away. So just wanted to make sure we could see that distance between the two. And again, the appeal is, for a sign height of 75 feet, staff is recommending disapproval. Also a sign size of 300 square feet, staff is also recommending disapproval for the second option as well, which is 50-foot maximum sign height and 247 square footage. And I'll pause for any questions.
Thank you, Shelby. I do have a question. Can you elaborate a little bit more on why the Buc-ee sign? How big is the Buc-ee sign?
Yep, let me go back here. So it looks like, and again, this is something that applicant provided, but for the sign height, it's 100 feet. The sign square area is 490.625 square feet.
Thank you.
Oh,
And so can you elaborate a little bit more on why that one's allowable, but the city is not wanting to?
Sure. So I kind of have some background information here. So with the Buc-ee's case, it was again with their rezoning case. So this pylon sign was included as a condition of the rezoning for that specific location. And again, the 100-foot pole, the 100-foot pole sign featuring the Buc-ee's logo was consistent with their other locations. So specifically citing the Buc-ee's number 22 in New Braunfels. And so that was a part of the rezoning and the plan development of that rezoning. And it was specifically a condition within that rezoning. So it wasn't a separate sign appeal or sign approval. It was a part of the rezoning case as a PD condition.
And just in case it helps a little bit. So there's a couple of different layers that you have. You have your base zoning district. And then you have the I-35 overlay district. And then with Buc-ee's, you also have the PD overlay district that overrides the I-35 overlay district, which overrides the base zoning district. So that's kind of how the layers go.
Not only that, the gateway district that Bucky's in is stricter standards than the industrial district that Applewood is in.
There's two proposals before us, both of which are recommendation for disapproval. Can you just, there we go. Both options go. Okay. Let me see. 75 feet and 300 square feet together is option 1. 50 feet and 247 square feet is option 2.
Yes, so sorry, I didn't hear the first one, but option 1 would be 75 feet for the for the sign height and coupled with the 300 square feet for the sign area. Option 2 would be the 50 feet sign height coupled with the 247 square feet sign area.
Granted, the process is a little bit different. I mean, but a PD condition is no different than us trying to vote for this. If, you know, in my opinion, it's just done at a different time, but.
Well, and I could say in my previous practice and line of work, with off-premise signage, I know this is an on-premise sign, but off-premise signs can be much larger and have that 75-foot requirements on the I-35 overlay. So there's nothing that would prevent like a billboard going there on site being quadruple the size at that exact height.
Yeah.
For off-premise sign billboards like that, they do have to have certain, what are they called? Credits from other locations taking signs down in order to have that. So it's not as simple, they can just put a billboard here.
This case does require a public hearing. We will now open the hearing. If you wish to speak and are attending in person, please come to the podium. If you're viewing the meeting online, please virtually raise your hand. Please state your full name and city of residence.
Seeing none online.
Seeing none in person.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
You
sorry.
got a hand up.
I missed it. Yeah, if you want to come on up. Yep, sorry about that.
Sorry. Late raiser.
My name's Kirk Stateson, Fort Worth, Texas. I'm with the sign company. And I just wanted to point out, you can see it on the site plan, but the building, the Atwood's building, although their building sign is gigantic, which we appreciate that getting approved. The building is so far set back that there's just a real big need for some good signage out near the road. So that wasn't really brought up, but that, I think, well,
I can show
I wrote
it.
it up in another,
Celebration.
it's set back pretty far. Is it like 400 or 500 feet? I think?
500 feet off the road.
About 142, around that.
Okay.
Footage.
Anyway, that was one point. Other than that, you know, it's kind of it's a definite need on the highway. I will say 35 feet is probably one of the shortest allowable heights on the highway in any city I've dealt in. That's really short. Most of them, the short ones are usually maxed out at like 50. So I get 100's pretty excessive, but Bucky's is excessive. We all know that. So that's all I had, unless you'll have questions.
What's the average sign, that, have you built other Atwood signs?
Yes, sir. It's, they're all over the place because of, you know, city codes, but they do quite a bit that are in this range. It just depends.
Of 75 or 50?
They do have some 75 and I'd say probably more in the 50 range. They tend to be in, yeah, they're in city limits a lot of time, but rural, so
yeah,
can be different.
What the one coming out of Waco is?
I should, but I don't off the top of my head. It is, It's at least 50. We serviced it a couple years ago. Yeah, it's at least 50. But that pole sign's actually set back in the parking lot, so it's, it's not even out
No.
near the
Right.
frontage, so that you get a little more height sometimes when you go back.
And just in case you didn't see it, this is the example kind of just of the other location at Waco. And again, like Mr. Kirk said, it is in the parking lot location, but just wanted to show this as in comparison.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of retail out in front of that one.
That's why I asked, I remember.
Yeah.
Seeing. Thank you.
Thank you.
There aren't any more public comments, we will close the public comment section. Shelby, I do have a question for the Starbucks and the Taco Bell, and I think there's a Burger King. What are the sign heights on those? And I know they're a little bit up the hill in comparison, but
To be honest, I'm not sure on the sign height for those. Again, you did mention that it is up the hill, so I kind of did include one of the, may not be very clear, but kind of the contour highway height comparison here, but I'm not sure exactly on the sign height for the businesses you mentioned, Starbucks and I think Burger King and Taco Bell.
yes, please. And Kyle, I don't have to open up the public comment section because he's answering a direct question, correct?
And you haven't closed it.
I have closed it. Yeah, I did close it.
He's the applicant, so it's okay.
Thank you.
I don't know the height of those, but just looking online, there's a good chance they're 35 to code. But our argument would be those are up on the hill. And
Right.
so as you're coming down the highway, they're up, and then Atwoods is down in the low area. So it kind of helps visibility and hurts us. So.
Thank you. Right, commissioners, I guess if there's no more questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion. And real fast. We are approving a disapproval, or we are disapproving a disapproval, correct?
Your motion is to recommend approving an appeal or recommend disapproving an appeal.
Okay. Okay.
And
Thank you,
then
Kyle.
either of those two options are the options that the applicant's given.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the appeal for FY 24-2-APL.
Which criteria? The 50 or the
Option
75?
one.
The 75 footer?
Yeah, that would encompass option two.
That's it. Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Smith with a second by Vice Chair Krause to recommend approval of item 8 FY 24-2 APL to City Council per staff recommendation as option 1.
Not per staff recommendation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Option one.
Thank
as
you. That's
Provided by,
sorry.
presented.
Sorry. All right, I'll read that again to make sure I get it right. A motion's been made by Commissioner Smith and a second by Vice Chair Krause to recommend approval of item FY 24-2 APL to City Council as presented. May we have a vote, please?
As presented as option one.
As presented as option 1.
Yes.
You
There
think
we
I
go.
could have gotten that one right? Okay, thank you.
No.
Yes. Okay, we'll have a vote. Commissioner Morales,
Aye.
Commissioner Walker, Commissioner Jurassic,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Vice Chair Krause,
Aye.
Chair Marshall.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous and the motion carries.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
With that, we'll move to item number 9, which is FY 24-2 site. Discuss and recommend action on a site plan in accordance with ordinance 2016 4758 on Lot 1, Block 1, Waters Dairy Addition in the city of Temple, Bell County, Texas, addressed as 5015 South 31st Street. In this case, will also be presented by Senior Planner, Mrs. Shelby Smith.
Thank you. And this will also be going to City Council as a first reading for August 15th and September 5th. So background information, so because of the ordinance 2016 4758, this is required to be reviewed by City Council in terms of the site plan review. So this area was a replat of the MoFlo addition. This was a final plat that just recently went to P&Z. I believe it was June 17th. The plat's been recorded on July 24th of this year. And this did go to the DRC review for the site plan review, and there weren't any issues identified. In terms of the location, it is located at the corner, well, kind of the corner of Waters Dairy Road and South 31st Street. And in terms of the future land use plan, it is in the corridor mixed use land use plan. So you can see here, and I have another slide with a better view of the site plan, but this is the site plan under review. There are also landscaping requirements associated with the site plan, which are included as notes on the site plan. The proposed site plan is one building divided into 2 parts with footprints of 24 by 66 and 20 by 66 for a total square footage of 2,904 square feet. This is for proposed retail space for a cafe and also cleaning and tailoring use. This is a single-story building. It will have an eave height of 12 feet. And then in terms of the exterior finish, it will consist of stucco stone and include metal awnings to provide additional architectural relief to the building. And then also just the suite exteriors will provide a 3-foot high course of stone. And you'll see that in the next slide. In terms of parking, the site plan proposes a maximum 14 parking spaces. 12 parking spaces are required per the UDC, and the parking will be confirmed with the building permit review. And this is really just a picture of the proposed site plan. So for landscaping, there is a minimum 5% of landscaping requirement per UDC section 7.4. And landscaping must be compliant with the review of building plans, and also the proposed materials shall be in accordance with the UDC. So you can see here the floor plan of the building. Again, it is one building divided into 2. And then these are also the elevations, including a metal awning and the stucco and stone that was referenced earlier. For public facilities, there is wastewater available from existing 10.5-inch sewer line approximately in South 31st Street. And then water is also available from an 8-inch water line in South 31st Street. There are existing sidewalks surrounding the property, but not specifically on the property of the site plan within the plat. And then the applicant is providing a 5-foot internal sidewalk. For public notification, while property owners within 200 feet have been formally notified by mail in the past, the legal department has recently interpreted that the formal adjacent property notification is no longer required for the review of a public site plan. And however, a public hearing is still required. So staff recommends approval subject to the following conditions. Number 1, including a minimum front yard setback, minimum side yard setback, and minimum side corner yard setback, and making sure to add a note to the site plan that the non-residential dimensional standards will be compliant. And then condition number 2, just including a note specifically related to the PD conditions of the ordinance associated with the property and the site plan. So those include metal awnings to provide additional architectural relief, which were included in the site plan, compliance with UDC section 7.18 performance standards in terms of relating to the exterior lighting. And then number 3, signage on the north, east, and south building facades externally illuminated to prevent glare. And I'll pause for any questions.
One does not require a public comment section. So if there are no more questions or comments from the commission, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion for approval for FY 24-2-SIT.
Second.
All right, a motion's been made by Commissioner Morales and a second by Commissioner Walker to recommend approval of item 9 FY-24-2-site to city council for staff recommendation. Maybe have a vote, please.
Yes, Commissioner Morales.
Aye.
Commissioner Walker,
Aye.
Commissioner Jarosik.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Vice Chair Krause,
Aye.
Chair Marshall.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous and the motion carries.
Moving to item number 10, FY-24-27-PLT. Consider and take action on the Home Rock Twins Edition final plat, a 0.3217 acre, 4-lot, 1-block residential subdivision, being a replat of lots 1 and 3, block 22, Talco Place, located in the Bell County, Texas, address as 1301 South 25th Street. In this case, will also be presented by Senior Planner, Ms. Shelby Smith.
Thank you. And this will just be going to P and Z, so P and Z will be the final authority for this case here. Okay, so just taking a look at the location, this is located at the corner of South 25th Street and West Avenue M. And these are the 2 lots here that we'll be looking at for the replat. So background information, it is 0.3217 acres, 4 lots, 1 block residential subdivision. And this is a replat creating 4 lots from 2 existing lots, which requires the review and approval, or I guess recommendation for approval for Planning and Zoning Commission. And then the zoning is TMED/T4. The proposed development is a residential development specifically for townhouses. The plat was reviewed by the DRC on April 22nd of this year, and it was deemed administratively complete/filed on July 25th of this year, with the conditions that the remaining legal comment would be addressed. I see Kyle.
Yes, it's not the legal comment that's still remaining. The tax forfeiture's been dealt with. We just need the correct signatory and authorization provided.
Thank you, Kyle. So since this is a residential replat, notification will be sent to property owners within 10 days after the Planning and Zoning Commission. Again, this is a residential replat, so the park fees are required $225 per new dwelling unit. And then also Planning and Zoning Commission is the final plat authority. Again, the zoning is TMED/T4. So surrounding zonings include general retail, 2-family, and neighborhood services. For water and wastewater is available from an existing 6-inch sewer line with an alignment of South 25th Street on the east side of the property. And then water is available from an 8-inch water line in alignment with West Avenue M, and also a 2-inch water line on the east side of the property. For the thoroughfare plan, driveway access will be from the alley on the east side. And there are existing sidewalks along South 25th Street, and we're asking, or there's a plat note requirement for matching sidewalks along Avenue M. Excuse me. And this is just a snapshot of the final plat. And then the utility plan. And staff is recommending approval of the final plat for Home Rock Twins Edition.
One does not require a public hearing either, or a public comments. So if there aren't any questions or comments, I entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve FY-24-27-PLT as presented by staff.
Second.
Motion has been made by Vice Chair Krause and a second by Commissioner Smith for approval of item 10 FY-24-27-PLT. Maybe have a vote, please.
Yes, Commissioner Morales.
Aye.
Commissioner Walker,
Aye.
Commissioner Jarosik,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Vice Chair Krause,
Aye.
Chair Marshall.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous and the motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And having no further business, we will conclude the meeting at 6:20. Everyone.
Thank you.